I am Vivid Pagyagueco. This is the SWAB, Sports World and Beyond, the newest sports vlog in town. Today's episode, 40-year journey in the sports writing industry, highlights the career of my Tito Lito Cinco, a known veteran with more than 4 decades of writing in newspapers, tabloids, and magazines. He has written for recognized broadsheets, Manila Standard and Manila Bulletin, and his notable columns is still at hand. My 5 cents worth, Bandera, and the bottom line, Manila Bulletin are just few proofs of the credibility he has built through the years. So nakikita nyo din dito, with this one, big difference, co-author of Mr. Kaloy Lonzaga. And that's it. It's a honor and pleasure to meet you, sir.
Hi to all. This is my first time to do a sports vlog too, and the reason why I got excited is I got affected by the excitement of this guy. Okay, he was really so into it, and he said, "Let's do something that we want to do." It's not the money. We laid down the objectives that we wanted. First and foremost, through the blog, we want to be able to educate or teach people. Of course, it will revolve around sports, okay? But as we said, sports and beyond. So you want to be able to educate and teach people, whether you're athletes, coaches, or ordinary sports fans. And we will do this by doing regular blog. We want to do this on a weekly basis. We'll be touching base with a lot of sports personalities who will be able to give us what we envision to be the objective. Okay? And as David said, my background is I am a sports writer since 1977.
Wow.
And I've written for a lot of newspapers, magazines, maybe 15 to 20 publications over the 40-year span, doing sports features, sports news. Now I'm more concentrated on doing columns. Although I've been doing columns for a lot of time. Among others, we have here Sports Weekly magazine, where I wrote for 20 years. Sports Digest, I think, for more than 10, 12 years. I did columns for Bandera, tabloid of Inquirer, for close to 20 years. Its sister publication, Tumbok, in Tagalog. I also write in Tagalog. And then we have Manila Standard. I used to write for another magazine, Sports Weekly Digest of Manila Bulletin. And a lot of other magazines na unfortunately when I tried to retrieve yesterday, we put it in a box. Unfortunately, it still got wet.
Guys, marami tayo ditong prepare ng mga tanong na I'm sure maiintindihan natin na makaka-relate na tayo or makakapulot tayo ng mga life lessons or mga experiences sa ating ini-interview ngayon. Tito, saan po nagsimula yung ano niyo po, yung passion niyo or ano po yung parang naging
Motivation? Siguro, elementary pa lang ako, mahilig na ako magbasa. That's why. For you to be a good writer, dapat ang command mo ng grammar should be good. That means your foundation for English should be good. Okay? So, yun ang isang advantage ko because I've been reading books since I was elementary. I was also into sports. In fact, in 4th year high school, basketball then, I made it to our Team B simply because there was no Team C. Okay? So I made it to Team B. But siguro nga, dahil alam ko naman na yung katawan ko, hindi pang basketball, pinaibigan ko yung mga naglalaro, yung mga kaklase ko na sikat. And I guess it carried over when I became a sports writer.
yes.
I can tell basketball player, ganito ginawa mo. Right? So, I mean, you feel good about it.
Yes.
That they will listen to you, even if you yourself, hindi ako atleta. Minsan nga, ang biro ko, the closest I aim to being an athlete is having athlete school. Pero ayaw naman nilang maniwala. Sabi ko, but yeah, that's the truth. I was never a full-time sports writer, nor was I a full-time athlete. Okay? How did I start into writing? Would you believe the very first article I did way back 1977? The Sports News. It was a weekly sports newspaper. It was about a San Beda visit to a town in Batangas. They were, I think, the champions at that time. They played the game. Ikinwento lang sa akin at isinulat ko na yung istorya based sa kwento. Wala ako doon. Yun yung very first article ko, and I got paid a magnificent sum of 20 pesos for that. Okay, so, and I was working at Manila COD department store where the sports program. And again, kasi mahilig ako sa sports, I asked my sister, who was in an ad agency, na baka naman pwedeng i-publish namin sa newspapers. Kasi may connect siya doon. So, I did the write-up itself. Yun yung ginamit namin. At nung lumabas, I felt na kaya ko palang magsulat. That was the start. And considering nga na I never took up journalism, I did not finish college, simply tells me that if you really want to do something or be something that you want, it's a matter of believing that it can happen and exerting the effort. It cannot be just dream alone and then you expect things to happen. You got to work your ass off to reach what you want to reach. And I never imagined that I'll end up writing more than now. I'm running 42 years already in writing sports, and I've gone to a lot of places. Although I was never a full-time writer, it has opened a lot of doors for me. That even in my other world of being into management, I am a management consultant. I was into HR before for 10 years, and then general management ship. Now I'm a management consultant. A lot of things that I've done in sports helped me in my corporate work. Like I have clients now, an ex-PBA player, Mike Arbani, and I've been helping him in his business for the last 10 years. Okay? There was a race organizer before, another Indian friend of mine. Now I'm also helping him in his business. And these are the things that sports will be able to do for one. Okay? And that's why even at a young age sa sports writing, my focus was in keeping relationships. The scope or getting a story na ikaw lang nakakaalam, for me was secondary. What I wanted was to be able to keep the relationships. Like, I'll cite one player who was my best man in 1983. In my wedding, a former PBA player, Fritz Gaston, became my kumpare. And up to now, we're still good friends. Okay?
Pero, nabanggit niyo po yung big scope niyo sa inyo pong career as sports writer. Ano po yung masasabi niyo na most memorable?
Whoever thought at that time in the 90s that Alaska would ever trade Johnny Abarrante?
Wow.
It was unbelievable. But I got wind of it. Alaska management, of course, pagdating sa ganyan trades kasi, they keep silent. Okay? You only hear about it through contact, through people. So, when I heard about it, of course, both management, si Waki Trillo, team manager ng Alaska, at saka si Elmer, at the family name. Okay? Yung team manager ng Yanga, Elmer Yanga, the team manager ng Papcola. Sila yung nag-trade. They didn't want to confirm that there was a trade. What I did, I called up Kenneth Durandes.
Wow.
Because at the time, I was
Because,
close.
guys, Johnny Abarrientos is the face of Alaska that time.
Yeah, together with Jolas and Bob
Jolas.
Hawkins. Okay? In fact, I was doing ghostwriting for Johnny Abarientos, uso dati yung PBA players writing columns in magazines. So he gives me the input. I help compose the column for Johnny. I did that for Johnny. I did that for Boy Beats Victoria.
Wow.
And even Fritz Gaston. Okay? So, going back to that story, ayaw i-confirm yung management about the trade. I called up Kenneth, and the way I asked him, Kenneth, alam na ba ni Johnny? Sabi ni Kenneth, oo, lungkot nga namin lahat. That was the confirmation that I needed. It's how you ask the question that would give you the answer that you want. These are the things that you learn along the way sa writing. If I look at what I've been writing 40 years ago, and the way I write now, pagtatawanan ko siguro yung sarili ko. Looking at the way I was writing, hindi ko siya ganun kalalim, but again, it's the experience, the years of interviewing people, meeting thousands of athletes, coaches. It really builds your database of information. Na writing columns becomes so easy. So yung trade kay Johnny was supposed to be my biggest scoop. But my editor didn't want to believe that Alaska would trade. So what he did was call up other editors to confirm whether there was that news. And it came out all together at the same time. Right? That was supposed to be ako yung unang nakaalam na. Okay? Pal Manila Marathon was another major event here in the Philippines. I was into running before. I used to run 10K, 5K, I was doing fun runs. So I was close to that sport. So Pal Manila Marathon at the time was one of the two major international running events in the Philippines. It had been running for maybe about 8 years, 10 years, I'm not so sure. And then I learned they were stopping. That was big news for the local running scene. So again, I went there and I was able to get confirmation. I was the only one who came out with the story. Yun yung halimbawa ng scoop. Kasi it's a major story and you were the first to break the story to the public. Okay? So, but it's really, when I write, I want to do more on the feature side. Can you give me that? Okay, this is an article about Lito Pumaren. Used to be a very good point guard sa PBA, brother ni Franz Pumaren, ngayon nagpo-coach na rin. There was a time I interviewed him, he told me he had a special child. Okay? So, pero maliit pa ang time. When he had retired already, and he was a coach at PU, I believe, I was sitting with him watching the UAAP Philippines. And I just made kumusta. Kumusta yung anak mo, yung special child? And he said, yeah, okay. He was not ashamed at all to talk about his son who was a special child. I asked him, can I do an interview with the family about this special child? It's one of the articles that made me shed tears. They opened themselves dun sa story ng family na, the struggle of having a special child, yung dream ng anak nilang isa na maging doktor para daw maalagaan niya yung kapatid niyang bata. Pagpupunta sila sa party, ang kondisyon nila dapat kasama yung they want to give him a normal childhood. And when this story came out, it was pretty long. Okay? Pretty long. Okay? When it came out, I got a call from the grandmother, asawa ni Lito Pumaren. Tinawagan ako. Nag-station ko, yes ma'am. Ako po yung lola ni, ano yung pangalan, mother ni Lito. I just want to thank you for the article and sabi niya, I cried. Yun yung point na naiyak na rin ako. It's this kind of experience na when you write something and you get that kind of feedback. It makes it cool. Okay? Because writing per se, if you look at it from the financial side of it, hindi ka magkakapera. Sports writing is good when you're single. You live with your parents, may bahay kang tutuluyan, na wala kang binabayaran, meron ka kakainin, kahit hindi ka magbigay, okay lang yan. Makakabiyahe ka, kahit na anong oras, pwede ka umalis. Once sa mag-asawa ka, magkaan ka, you start questioning yourself again. How can I give quality life? It's hard to be a sports writer. It's nice to be a sports writer. But for future, when you talk of providing a quality life for your family, medyo struggle. Right? And that's why, on my side, I never envisioned myself to be involved as a full-time sports writer. It was always on the side. So, I concentrated more on my corporate work. Okay? So, this house, I built from a loan, and then loan from the company I used to work for, and from Pag-ibig. The cars came from my corporate job. So it really is hard. Just recently, I helped raise money for a colleague of mine, Clyde Mariano, matagal ng sports writer yan. Okay. Ang problema is may sakit na siya, unemployed siya, and he doesn't have the money. So what I did was, together with other people, we raised some funds, we give it to him. Okay? It's really difficult kung aasa ka for the future dito sa pagsusulat. Okay? But I will not exchange the life that I've had being a sports writer with other kinds of life. I've enjoyed it. I've covered some international events. I've been able to go abroad for some events. There was a time I climbed Mount Kinabalu in Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia, with my daughter, my eldest daughter. 2008, Mount Kinabalu is the highest peak in Southeast Asia. Okay. But I've been there back and forth writing travel articles because I also am a travel writer. And I met people sa tourism ng Kota Kinabalu. And they gave me the ticket. Now, I paid for the ticket. When I arrived there, everything was free. And that included the climb to Mount Kinabalu. It was something I knew I didn't prepare for it well, because we climbed at 10 o'clock in the morning. We arrived near the peak where there is a hotel, up in the mountain, at 6 o'clock at night. So it was 8 hours solid of walking up the mountain. There's a trail. It's not a technical mountain. A technical mountain is something na mahirap to walang trail. This one is merong hagdan. Okay? But it's, as you go up, the air becomes steep. But as they say, ang balik naman yan, ikaw ay mountaineer, which is a sport, mountaineering is a sport, you get God's view.
Yes.
Pagdating mo sa pagising namin sa umaga, wow, yung clouds ando sa baba. That's something
Which is
na
everyone na hindi pa yun, I think, na experience. Ako, personally, ito, hindi ko pa yun.
it's hard to quantify yung
Yes.
klaseng feeling. So, writing has done that for me. It has provided me those opportunities. People who will not recognize you at all, but because you're a writer, they will know you. That is part of the perk. Okay? But financial, I will repeat it, I will not advise young people to go into writing per se unless you have rich parents and you just live on your own. Okay? Na buhay mo yan, pero may bahay ka at may kinakainan ka. Then that's a very good life. Okay? Now, I also ventured, aside from this, I also ventured into team building. And again, the fact that I've interviewed a lot of athletes, coaches, it gave me that advantage of knowing how people think, how athletes think, how they behave. Okay? So, and it's the same thing in corporate world. Sa corporate world, meron din team building. Sa sports, meron din sports team building. And we promise you, we will be doing a vlog on sports team building. Okay? That's going to be our next vlog. But I'm just saying in advance, it's something that I've done in the past, and it gives you that high.
Yeah.
It gives you that unquantifiable feeling of achievement, that you've done something that people will thank you for it and say, sir, I learned a lot from this thing. It's just like my saying yes to you, let's do this vlog. Sharing partner siguro kasi ang buhay ko. I'm 65 years old. Okay? But I'm still, I'm a strong 65 and I still go to Mount Banahaw. And that's another vlog that we're going to do one of these days. We're going to do what I do for people I brought to Banahaw for team building.
Wow.
Because I've done team building in Banahaw for UE Women's Basketball Team, Centro Escolar. Last year I did it for Photon Volleyball Team. I had Jaja Santiago with me in Banahaw.
Yes guys, I'm sure sobra kayong nabitin sa ating ano pa lang yan, pilot episode. Meron pa tong kasunod at we learned a lot from our dearest Tito Lito Cinco. Marami tayong natutunan bilang veteranong sports writer at to all of you young generations out there, dapat nyong malaman yung history sa mga aspiring athletes dyan. Talagang your dream to become one of the best. Ayan. You must know those people na narisyon kung paano yung hard work nila. Talagang kagaya ni Tito Lito, talagang from scratch, di ba? Into sports writing, ba yung career na tinahak na, pero yung passion, yung drive niya when it comes to sports, yun yung nagdala sa kanya dito sa mga to, na talagang masasabi niya sa sarili niya, it's a fulfillment, it's a different kind of feeling. Yan ang matutunan natin. And guys, we stored a lot of videos, episodes coming right. Basta andyan lang kayo, stay put, and we are blessed to have here my Tito Lito. I am so proud that hindi man kami ganun talaga full blood na mag-ana, because my wife is siya talaga yung tita niya, ano pangasawa is si Tito Lito. But I'm so blessed and honored to interview, yes, a veteran sports writer here in the SWAB. Ito, any final words sa ating mga viewers?
Well, it was fun for me. Again, it was just like sharing things, okay? And this is our promise. We're going to share a lot of interesting materials with you. Interview with athletes, coaches, people who can help educate, entertain, inform us about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so see you next soon.